Since we've learned how to write the equation of a line given slope and a y-intercept, we're now going to move on to finding slope from a graph and an equation from slope and a point. And today, if you look at the foldable that has the graph on it, and it looks really similar to the one we did for slope, we're going to be doing that. And today we're just working on the right side, the right half of the foldable. So you might want to just keep that in mind. We're going to need the left side, so don't use the entire middle space. And we're going to start in the top right with the graph. And I've just sketched the graph here for you. And when we are writing the equation of a line from a graph, we have two steps. We want to identify our slope, our m, and identify our y-intercept. So I like to start with my y-intercept. So all you do is look at the graph and identify what is your y-intercept. So on the graph that you have on your page, the y-intercept is equal to 3. Then we're going to find slope just like when we originally learned to do slope. So slope is rise over run. You can use any points. I've pointed out 3 of them. You can use any or any other ones as long as they go through a corner. But I'm just going to choose the first 2 I see. So I'm going to go down 3 and to the right 2. So my m is -3 over 2. My last step is to just substitute those in my equation. So y equals m x, whoops, I was trying to do a different color, x plus b, which is 3. And you're done. Writing an equation from a graph is 2 steps. Identify your slope, identify your y-intercept. The next thing is so important. And when we're doing y equals mx plus b, you don't need to write that part right now. Your b is your y-intercept. A lot of times you're not going to be given your y-intercept, so we need another equation to use in order to find the equation of my line, and then we'll simplify it to get y equals mx plus b. And the equation we're going to use is y equals m x minus h plus k. So in the center of the middle part of your foldable, I want you to write that. Y equals m x minus h plus k. M is still your slope. And then the h and k is your point. H, comma, k. So the h is your x value, and you can remember it because it's inside the parentheses with x, and then k is at the end. When you see a minus in a math formula, that minus means opposite. So when I plug in my point, I'm going to do the opposite of my x value. And then k, since it has the plus, it doesn't mean it's always plus. It means you're going to keep the sign. So I'm going to say keep k. So now we're moving to the bottom right part of your foldable, and you should have this problem written. M equals 1/2, and your point is -4, 2. So what you want to do, it's not giving you your y-intercept, it's giving you a point. So we're going to use our new formula, and for the next week or so, I want you to write the formula in all of those. Eventually you'll get good enough that you don't have to write it, you can just substitute it. Y equals m x minus h plus k. So m is going to be 1/2. Y equals 1/2. Parentheses x. And now we need to substitute our h and our k. So remember from the previous screen, the minus in the math formula means opposite. So it doesn't mean negative, it means opposite. So the opposite of -4, which is h, would be +4. Then I'm going to keep my k, so I'm going to keep it as +2. Now I know some of you shut down when you see OMG fractions, but when we do OMG fractions, we're going to go over it. It's not that bad. And especially if I have something like half or a third, it's really not going to be horrible. 1/2 times x is just going to be 1/2 x. I do my sign next. Positive times a positive will be a plus. And then half of 4 is going to be +2. Now we're going to bring down the other 2, my plus k. And now I can simplify. 2 plus 2 gives me 4. So once again, the 4 is coming from combining 2 plus 2. And you're done. We now have our y equals mx plus b form of a line. So in the middle section, remember you're only using half of it. We're going to write about 4 problems and do those. Once again, you know you're using your y equals m, parentheses x minus h, plus k formula when you are not given your y-intercept. You're given any other combination of information. Okay, so in this problem, my m is -3. So I substitute that x. Remember that your point gives you your h and your k. The minus in the formula means opposite, so the opposite of +4 would be -4, parentheses, and we're going to keep our k, so keep it as a -7. My last 2 steps are to distribute and combine like terms. So distributing means multiply. -3 times x means -3x. -3 times -4 is a +12. Bring down your k value, -7. And now I combine like terms. Y equals -3x. 12 minus 7 gives me a +5. And I'm done. Let's look at one with an example. Lord have mercy. Let's look at one with a fraction. Y equals 2/3 x. Remember the minus in the formula means change the sign or the opposite. So the opposite of -6 is +6. And then we're going to keep our k, which is +1. I just realized I kind of skipped the step we were doing of actually writing the formula. Don't forget, that's a really good thing to be doing, especially as we are starting. And you can label your point h and k if that helps. All right, so for the first part, when we're distributing to the x, don't freak out. It's just literally squishing it together. But when I'm distributing a fraction, what you want to do is do the sign first. So that's a +2/3 times a +6. So we're going to write plus. Then you're going to multiply the top 2 times the inside 6. So 2 times 6 would give me 12. And then you're going to put that over your denominator. 12 over 3. Don't worry about simplifying right now. We're going to bring down our +1. And then what you can do is do the actual division. So 12 divided by 3 is 4, plus 1 is going to give me 5. So my final answer is y equals 2/3 x plus 5. So to recap, when we have a fraction, you multiply the top, the numerator, times the number in parentheses, and put it over your original denominator. Okay? But it wouldn't be complete without us doing a special example. Why am I saying that this example is special? Think about that for a second. Because I have a slope of 0. And remember, I have 2 special slopes, 0 and undefined. And anytime I see those, I'm thinking about Hooyvuk's. Since this is a slope of 0, that means that this is a Hooy equation. Hooy equations have y. So it's going to be y equals, and now watch this. This point is an x and a y. I need y equals. What is my y value? It's 8. I'm done. That is the answer to this problem. Don't do anything else. You're done. Move on with your life. So what do you think's next? Undefined. So undefined is one of my special slopes. So Hooyvuk's. Since it's a u, that means we're doing a Vuk's equation. What does the x stand for in Vuk's? It means my equation is just x equals a number. I wonder what number to do. Look, they gave me a point. What is the x value of my point? -3. And I'm done. Did I do any addition, subtraction, multiplication, anything? No. When you have a special slope that's 0 or undefined, it's just going to be hooivax. Do not make life complicated. Especially with when it's undefined, I start seeing all sorts of really crazy answers coming up. So don't forget about hooivax. That is it for this video. What I want you to do is load those pictures and go back to your bullseye. Find the one that in the center says point and slope. And it's the same idea. You're going to go outwards and use the slope and the point that they give you. I want you to do the two ones that do not have action. So that would be m equals 2 and through the point negative 5, negative 5 and negative 3. And then the one at the bottom, which is a slope of negative 4 and point is 1, negative 10. Okay, so I need you to do those two examples, also that picture for this assignment.